Good morning. Today we're going to talk about how to create a quiz using Google Forms. First step is to get to Google Forms. So I'm already here, but to get here, in your address bar, type in forms.google.com. Enter. Secondly, another way you could get there is from any of your Google Apps for Education, so that's Drive or Inbox or Gmail or Classroom. There's a little grid of 9 little boxes at the top. Those are your Google Apps. You click on it, go down to More, and select Google Forms, and that will take you there as well. So, once you get to Google Forms, at the top you're going to see a little menu for Start a New Form. You can create a blank form, blank quiz, an assessment, an exit ticket, a worksheet, or a course evaluation. Those are just templates. We're going to go over to blank quiz. So we're going to click on it. So once you've clicked on blank quiz, there's a few things that have already been pre-selected for you. So in the settings, you'll see there's a number of tabs. Under quizzes, it's already been selected, make this a quiz. So with this, you can actually turn any Google form into a quiz by going to the settings, clicking on quizzes, and clicking make this a quiz. A few of the other settings that you can select under quizzes is when you want the grade to be released, so what the students get. So they can get the mark immediately after or later after you do a manual review. So I'm just going to leave that at immediately. Missed questions, this is only relevant if you don't make questions mandatory, and I'll show you how to do that, or required questions. Correct answers, I usually take that one off because I don't want the students to be able to just get a copy of all the answers after they complete it. I want to go over them with them in class. And point values, that's a good one as well. For presentation, you can shuffle the question order, which is kind of neat. So by shuffling the question order, students will all be on different questions at the same time. So if your whole class is doing an exam, kids could look over to another student's test and they won't be looking at the same question. So it's very, very difficult for students to cheat that way. So showing the progress bar, showing the students how much more they have to do is a nice one as well. And we can just leave this one, show link to submit another response. And under general, we want to collect their email addresses, limit it to one response unless you want students doing the test more than once. And then this one you can choose, the edit after submit, you can choose whether it's a formative or a summative assessment. If it's formative and you want the students to go back in and change their answers after, you can click that, otherwise you can leave that unchecked. And summary charts will show them charts of how they responded. So we're going to click Save. We're going to start making our quiz. So we want to name our quiz. We'll call this one Test Quiz. And we'll name it down here as well. And now we start making our questions. So the first question I usually like to make is, what is your name? And it already, see how it changed to short answer? It knew the type of question it was by the type, by what I typed. So it uses a little bit of learning there. So you can see the different types of questions you can ask, but it knew that it was going to most likely be a short answer question. We're going to make that required. So we click that, and we don't want that to be worth any points unless you want to give marks for students putting their name. Then on the right-hand side, there's a little menu. So the plus button will add a question, which we're going to do. Other options here are title and description. So you can add a title to each of the questions if you'd like. You can add an image if you're doing source-based questions and you want to add some cartoons or add some pictures. And you can add videos as well. So if you want your quiz, if you want to maybe put a link to a YouTube clip and then have questions about it, perhaps you're doing current events in class and you want to link to a current event and you want kids to answer questions about that current event. You can have that link built right in there. And then this creates a new section. So if you want to have your test broken into sections, you can do it that way. So we'll start here. We'll do a multiple choice question and we'll say, what is the best color? And we'll make option 1 red, option 2 green, blue, you know, the standards. I don't know, chartreuse. I spelled that wrong. So we'll spell check that. There we go. So we have our options. Now we don't have a key yet. So the Google form will not know what is the correct answer. Obviously there's no correct answer here, but we're gonna key this in. So I'm gonna click the little check mark, the blue check mark, and I'm gonna key this in. We'll make chartreuse. Of course, that's the best color. Make that worth 1 point. Then we click the edit button again, and now that's keyed. So now Google knows what you want the correct answer to be. We're gonna make that required. Let's make one more question. What is the cutest animal? Say a dog, say a cat, hamster, and a sea lion. They're not very cute, but they're kind of funny. Then we're going to key it. I'm going to start a revolution here, but I'm going to say hamster is the cutest animal of those four. We'll make that worth 1 point. Now, one additional thing you can do, you don't have to key just one as being correct. So, for example, if you had a question where you had 2 or 3 answers that were correct, you can key in as many as you want. So right now, maybe we'll do cat and hamster. Those are the cutest. And so we'll click edit. And now our mini quiz is done. So now we need to find a way to get this to the students. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can share it on your Google Classroom as an assignment. So the way you would do that is you would go to your Google Classroom page, scroll down to the plus button, create assignment, and go over to the triangle, and we would select the quiz we just made. If you have the recent tab selected, the most recent thing you did will pop up there. Click add, put a title, test quiz, and then we can select grade importing, so it'll bring the grades over from the quiz right into your Google Classroom, and then we click assign. Now, I'm not going to do that because this is one of my live classrooms and I would confuse my students with this quiz, so I'm just going to click close, and we'll go back to our form. There we go. Another way, if you don't use Google Classroom, is you can send it. So you can send it to a specific email address or group. So for example, I can type in one of the groups, Queen Elizabeth staff list, or I can create a link by that little paperclip there, or the little link, chain link, not paperclip, shorten URL to make it a nice short URL, and we can copy that, clicking copy, and you can share that link through an email with your students. And this is embed. We're not going to talk about embed right now. So we'll cancel that. Then, when your students get this, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like test quiz. And I've shuffled the question order. You can see that what is your name appeared last. Cutest animal went first. So I'm going to select a few here. I'm going to click submit. And now I can view my score. So how did I do? I got 2 out of 2. Well, look at that. I did really well on this really easy quiz that I knew the answers to. So that's the view that the students see. Thank you for watching.